Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I'm sorry we were a little delayed today, had a few technical difficulties, but we are here now, and I am so excited to be here this evening. I'm just going to wait a couple seconds so we can have people join us. I know we're a little bit late, so my apologies for that, but I'm so excited. We've got a living legend with us this evening. And I just love this man and his wife. They are so special to me. And I'm going to just wait a few more seconds. Let some people join us, Chris. Just a few minutes. So there's a lot going on. I can't wait. People have been asking questions, and hitting me up and asking me some things. So hopefully they'll all join this evening and they can ask themselves and find out that, but where has he been and all that good stuff. So we're to find out in just a minute. A few housekeeping things, or one thing in particular. If you're just joining us, please say hi to us. Let us know where you're joining us from, what city, and hit the StreamYard link in the top of this post and allow StreamYard to access your name so we can see your name. Otherwise, we will not know who is posting the comment. So please do that. So without further ado, it is my great pleasure on behalf of the founder of the Fans of Unsung page, Luther, and myself, Tanya Hawley, that we welcome, introduce to you a living legend, Mr. Chris Jasper. Yay! Thank you, Chris.
All right, all right. Good to be with you. Good to be with you.
Yes, it's been a minute, Chris. You joined us.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, so and I'm excited to have you because there's a lot of exciting things going on with you. We're going to get to that. And everyone that's joining us, as I mentioned before, please be sure to click on StreamYard at the top of this post so I can see your name and I can recognize you. People are saying hello. Greetings from Austell, Georgia. Good to see you, Chris, the hit maker, Jasper. I don't know who it is because they didn't tell me their name. So make sure you click on a link so we can see who it is. Eric Haley, thank you for joining us. Atlanta. You all just let us know you're here. A lot of people like to look and not say anything. I can see there's more people, but that's okay. So let's get started, Chris, because an hour goes really fast and we could talk probably for a few hours with your history. But if you could just tell us, I always like to start at the beginning, like how music started for you, where it was introduced, what made you want to do it. So go way back before you were actually in a group and tell us where did the interest start and what happened to make you want to be in the music business?
Well, I started when I was like 7 years old. I started studying piano and learning how to read music. My mother saw me playing by ear because I used to listen to the radio and I used to go to the piano and try to, work out the chords for the songs. And she saw me doing that. She said, "Chris, you have a good ear for music. You should study music. You should, learn how to read music." So she got me lessons with this professor in Cincinnati, and I told him when I was like 7, 8 years old at the time. I told him I wanted to be a composer. So he said, "Look, you have to learn a lot of things. You have to study real hard to be a composer." And so I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "But I think that's what I want to do it." And so he started teaching me how the composers would write their songs and how they would put together their themes, their counterpoint, and he would help me analyze music. So I had a really good musical background by the time I graduated high school. And all through high school, I had this trio with Ernie and Marvin Isley. Ernie played the drums, Marvin played bass, and I played the piano. We would play gigs around the local area where we lived. And the other older brothers, they were in Motown at the time. They used to come to our gigs and come to our rehearsals. And the more they saw, the more they liked. And they said, "Okay, guys, you guys have to come start playing with us."
Okay.
So that's how we got, into the business, as a profession. But,
Right.
there was a lot of time before that where I was studying music and kind of preparing for what I was going to do later.
Okay. So it did start early. Actually, you studying of music started very early for you. Most people don't say that.
Hmm. Yeah, it
And
started
then,
very.
yeah, that, at a very young age. And did we mention Juilliard School of Music? I don't know if people know you went there, but
Yeah, that's when I graduated high school. That's where I
right,
went. And
right.
I was well prepared for that because I studied composition there. Because
Yes.
I was background, in composing and keyboard, piano. So that was kind of a natural thing for me to do, is to go into a compositional division. You know.
Okay. So yeah, Chris Jasper's no joke. Y'all heard that, right? Juilliard School of Music. That's no joke, the study there. So, and we're going to get into some of the other stuff too. So, and you already mentioned, I was going to say you are from Cincinnati, Ohio, and that's when you've known the Isley brothers since high school, right? Or was it
Actually, no,
before then?
since I was born. I mean, we lived like a few doors from each other, the Jaspers and the Isleys. And
Mm-hmm.
when my sister Elaine married Rudolph, one
Right.
of the other guys, the families even got closer. So, I knew Ernie and Marvin when they were babies. It's like, uh, because Ronald and Rudolph and O'Kelly, they were older than us. So they were like,
Right.
there's like an 11-year span between me and Ronald. You know, so
Okay.
the three younger guys kind of hung together,
Mhm.
and the three older guys kind of hung together.
Okay. And then came the combination of coming together to form the one group. So did I skip anything? Because I want to walk people through this process because people are always asking.
Yeah, well, after we started playing with them, we didn't appear on album covers right away. We would just play it like we would do concerts, and
Hmm.
then we would do sessions, recording sessions.
Right.
We would play with the band that they already had. They had the band called the Midnight Movers,
Right.
and they played for other artists too, Wilson Pickett and some other people. But um, we were part of that band at first, in the studio recording the
Right.
record.
Studio band. Right.
And then as time went on, in '73, at the 3+3 album, that's what that album meant.
Oh,
The three
yes, that makes sense.
guys plus the three younger guys. 3+3. That's when people saw us for the first time. The young
Okay.
guys. Yeah.
Very good. So let's move to now. How did the 3+3? So how did the actual combination? Who decided? Why don't you all come with us? Did the older three finally just invite you all to join the group?
Yeah, that's kind of how it happened. And what happened first was, I think Ernie played a gig first, at drums first.
Mhm.
And then I played a gig with them, playing the organ.
Okay.
Because,
The
you know,
organ.
it's another keyboard, so I played organ.
Okay,
Uh,
you're right.
then we all started to play, all three of us, because Marvin picked up the bass a little later, um, as a musician. Um,
Okay.
because me and Ernie used to jam at first with each other, just me and him. And then we said, look, Marvin, we need a bass player. We need to round out this trio. You got to learn how to
Okay.
play, you know. So
That's
he,
funny.
he started learning how to play bass, and he got better and better. And so that's what formed our trio, you
Okay.
know, which uh, we joined the older guys like in the early '70s. Like right after It's Your Thing.
Okay.
We started recording with them. But I think Ernie even played bass on "It's Your Thing," that song,
Oh,
and
okay. Right.
we started to get in there after that.
Right. And once you all joined, that I always read that became the Isley Brothers became a self-contained group. They did everything right themselves, as far as writing, producing, to be everything themselves.
Right. That's what happened. We kind of phased the band that they had out. you know, they kind of, the more we got involved, the more, the less other musicians that we needed.
Right.
So I think we ended up with like the drummer and the organ player at one point. They played on a
Hmm.
couple of things, 3+3. And
Okay.
then after that, we just took it over.
And the sound of the Isley Brothers, thanks to Chris Jasper, was born. So, so tell us about. Wait, before I get into more of that timeline for you, got a few questions I want to get because I want to make sure I get the questions in from the fans. So,
Okay.
And good evening, everyone who's saying hello. I see my cousin is here. Adidalapo, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I'll say Mary. Thanks for joining us. So someone asked, who wrote Who's That Lady? I think that's someone's favorite song.
Who's That Lady was a song that was recorded, I think, in 1964. I think that was the first version of the song.
Okay.
And then what happened was the new version of the song, That Lady, was a collaboration by me and Marvin. We changed the lyrics. You know, I changed a lot of the musical things happening in the song. So it was the idea of the Who's That Lady, but
Oh, okay.
totally, if you heard both versions, they don't sound anything alike because we kind of just, you know, said, all right, we need to change this whole thing.
But the lyrics are the same?
The lyrics, well, only thing that's the same is Who's That Lady.
Oh, okay.
That stayed the same. Because when it went into the bridge, you know, that's a whole nother story. You know, the storyline.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to go look that one up.
Yeah. So
I'm sure the one they're talking about is the one you redid.
yeah. Yeah, and it had the guitar solo in it, you know, the music was different, you know. Just about everything was different except for Who's That Lady.
That right. Okay. And someone else, Mary is asking, when will there be a biopic involved? And everybody wants to hear the story of the Isley Brothers.
Oh, I don't know.
I figured not, but I thought I'd ask.
Nobody's contacted me about it, you know, but I've heard, you know, things like that before. You know, people have said things, you know.
But nothing, you haven't heard of anything happening yet?
Nothing concrete, no.
Okay. Someone saying, my mom turned me on since day one. She was a fan. I'm 61 now, and they are truly the soundtrack to my life. Yeah, a question from Sammy King. What age did you start writing music? You're awesome. You have wrote a ton of hits too. Yes, he has.
Well, I started writing music actually when I was with the Jasmine Trio. I wrote a few songs for that group. We used to perform them live. But the first thing I wrote professionally was Love Put Me on the Corner on the Brother, Brother, Brother album. That's the first song that I got published professionally. And then after that, I just started going mad. I started writing
everything. Okay. Oh, Luther's here. Luther, you know Luther, the founder of the Fans of Us on page. He has joined us. He's saying hello and welcome. Yes, met Chris Jasper at Star Parker event in Washington. Chris is the real deal, musician's musician. Hello from Miami. Okay, so I think I've got them all in, so I can, because people get mad at me sometimes when I miss their comments. So I'm gonna try and get them in. I love all your music. I still play it all the time. Keith Cobbin is asking. He's from Las Vegas. Well, he lives in Las Vegas. How has your classical background influenced the musical journey?
Wow, it's helped me a lot. A lot of things that I use to form my chord structures, which are different, which creates that quote unquote sound. The chord structures, some of them are based in classical and some of it's based in jazz. It's like a combination of the two. And I don't think I could have written anything, you know, like Highways of My Life or Lover's Eve or, you know, Love Put Me on the Corner, you name it, you know, Let Me Down Easy. I couldn't have written any of those songs without my classical background because I used so much of what I learned studying classical music and analyzing classical music that I thought, well, if I do it in a certain way, that it will be able to fit within R&B.
Right.
and it took a little thought to be able to do that, because I wanted to have a sound that people could identify with right away, but had a little bit of elements of things that I had studied, because in particular classical music that was written during the what they call the Romantic period. People like Debussy and Ravel, the harmonies and things that they use were really a little different than Beethoven and the other guys, before them. And Gershwin, he used a lot of those kind of romantic harmonies in his music. And if you hear Gershwin, you know what I'm talking about. If you hear if you know anything about Porgy and Bess, that play and the music that's in that play, there's a lot to learn musically when you study those plays and those things that they wrote.
Right.
And so, my sound is I guess it's a result of everything I'd studied. I went back and studied everything. I studied the blues. I studied classical. I studied jazz. I had the opportunity to study with the great jazz pianist and composer Billy Taylor. He was out at Long Island University when I was there. I said, I got to take his course. I had to study with him. And it's like all the things that I learned, I put into my music. And I think that's why I'm able to do so much of my music myself. It's because I can draw from all those things. I can write for the orchestra if I have to, which is a lot of things that I play are kind of things that an orchestra would play. Like if you hear the chords to For the Love of You, there aren't your normal triads, but it's something that if I orchestrated it, the brass would play this, maybe the woodwinds will play that da 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 da. That's like a flute or woodwind part, what I mean?
Yes.
So the things that I play sometimes, especially in the ballads, are things that maybe an orchestra would pick up, sections of the orchestra, And so just in my chords, just what I play on the piano. Forget if I'm adding anything else.
Right.
The piano parts are constructed like an orchestra, what an orchestra would play. So I guess that's the difference in how I approach my writing and my arranging.
Yes.
Than someone else would.
That's amazing. I don't think I'll hear anybody else say what you just said about that because of your background and what you do. And I can hear that with For the Love of You and some of your other music. I can see an orchestra playing that. I hadn't thought about that because of how you wrote it. And that's very unique, which makes you the legend you are, things like that. So thank you for sharing that. Great question. Thank you, Keith. Someone is asking, where are you? Are you in Atlanta? B. Cox is asking that question.
No, I'm in New York, like 60 miles from Manhattan. I'm in New York State.
We have somebody from LA, Charles Dudley. Thanks for joining us. Will there ever be a reunion tour or possible CD?
I don't know.
Okay.
I've been working so hard, doing my solo stuff. I don't think I've, maybe gave that too much thought. But,
I understand.
I don't know. Nobody's asked me to do anything, so I'm just going to continue working with my music.
That's right. Another person is saying, I heard that you wrote "Take Me to the Next Phase" in just 2 days. Is that true? And then they said, brilliant.
It was the next phase came actually less than 2 days. The next phase was it started off one way and ended up another way, and I explained. Ernie had an idea first. He had an idea like on the bass. He had a bass line he was playing, and I said, okay, wait a second, that sounds good. I said, but I'm feeling a little something different. I said, Ernie, go out into the drum booth. And this was all in the studio, unrehearsed. I said, Ernie, go out into the studio and play the drum kit. And I'm going to play the bass synthesizer and show you what I'm feeling on here. And He started it off, and then I came in. I don't know why I played what I played, but I was feeling that, that funk. I was just feeling that, and I just played it, and I was just playing different riffs on the bass, and then after we finished, I said, "Okay, that's great." I said, "It sounds really good." I said, "But I don't think it's in the proper order." What I was playing, I said, "I don't think that was in the right order." I said, "What we need to do is to edit this thing right." And I said, "All right." That took a day to edit.
Okay.
But to actually put down that track, that was done like that. And that was like, I don't know why I felt what I felt, but after Next Phase, a lot of people started to play a moving synthesizer part on the bottom. It kind of started, people doing those kind of riffs on the bass synthesizer, because before basses were kind of solid, solid. After Next Phase, you heard that song, "Don't Stop the Music," and then it has the bass line that's really moving.
Yes.
It's kind of, that came after Next Phase, and people started doing that more and more,
Trendsetter, yes, you are. You started.
It just started from a feeling, you know what I mean? It wasn't planned or anything. But the editing took a while because back then editing was difficult.
Okay.
We had to take the 2-track, the big 2-track reel, go to another studio that had more 2-track machines, and slice that tape up, man, and get it in the right order.
Oh, wow. Okay.
First go. So that took a day, but the actual writing of it didn't.
Wow. Well, we're glad you had that feeling or whatever you had, because that was a big hit, and we enjoy that song. A lot of people have.
That was funky.
Oh, Luther, our dear founder, has said, "Chris Jasper, you are a good-looking man. What is your regimen, sir? And can you tell us, and can you sell it, or will you sell it?"
Well, hey, I appreciate that comment, but I tell you, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, and I don't smoke. I think those 3 things, can really, wear on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can wear on if you're a singer, I would advise any singer: don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs, because it'll affect your voice. And I've seen it happen.
Yes.
We've all seen it happen.
Oh, yeah, we can.
As great as artist as Whitney Houston was, her voice is spectacular. But when she started the drugs, you could see a change.
The adverse effect, yes.
And you don't think it will affect you, because sometimes people get that euphoric kind of feeling, and they think they're doing more than they're doing. But it will affect you, and smoking is terrible for you too.
Yes. Were the 3 of you in one of the first 5 during the Buddha record days, 1969 to 72?
69 to 72. We were playing on the records. Yeah, we were playing on all that stuff. We just weren't, on the covers or anything.
Okay.
We played on all those records.
Okay, that was a good one. And Luther is also asking, how much of your music is sampled today? Oh, I know.
Whoa. Man, we were getting so many samples at one point. I couldn't believe it. And everybody was sampling,
Yes, which is good, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It adds another, it adds more songs to your catalog, but it also adds more life to the music that they sample. It injects new life into it. I think that's a great compliment when somebody either covers or samples something that I've done, because so much music out,
and introduces your music to a whole nother audience and generation.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna go back to the timeline, because we got to the part where you joined the Isley brothers. All of you are together. And so tell me what that was like, touring. Do you have a memorable experience, your most memorable experience with touring with the group, or one of your shows? Is there anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, a couple of things. The times when we play Madison Square Garden, you know, and the reason that stands out is because back then, Madison Square Garden was the kind of place where if you could sell that out, then you've quote unquote made it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You've made your mark if you could sell out the Madison Square Garden. And we played there 6 times and sold it out.
Woo!
And that to me was kind of an endorsement, you know, of the music, that we could play a venue that big, you know, which holds 20,000 people, and do it 6 times. You know, that was like, you know, yeah, I guess we have made it, you know.
Yeah, I think you made it.
Yeah, I mean, it stands out to me now, you know, that, and they give you, when you do that, they give you this, what they call this gold ticket, you know.
Oh,
and
really?
I have it somewhere in my house, but, you know.
I was going to ask you to show it to us, but okay.
Well, it's somewhere around here. I don't even know where it is now, but they give you the gold ticket, and that's symbolic of selling it out, you know, like 5+ times, you know.
Wow. Okay. So Chris, who inspired you to sing?
It's 2 people.
Okay.
Sam Cooke and Marvin Gaye.
There you go.
When I was little, those were the guys, and it was because they were so different than everybody else. You know, the way they sang, the way their phrasing, you know, and it was like really cool. You know, they almost effortless, both of them. You know, and I was like, wow. I used to like also Ray Charles and Nat Cole too, Nat King Cole. You know, because you know, it was so smooth, and you know, where you have other artists who were like more, you know, raspy or, you know, forceful in their approach. You know, these guys were smooth, and I used to sing Sam Cooke stuff all the time.
Okay. The greats, everybody you named.
My mother heard me doing that. She said, you know, you have a nice voice, Chris. You better join the choir. You know, because she was in the choir. You know? Okay.
Did you ever join the choir?
I wouldn't sing around people. I wouldn't sing around anybody. You know,
really?
I was very shy when I was little. And she said, you have to go and join the choir. So you have a nice voice. You should be in the choir. So she's the one that got me singing, you know.
But did you you didn't join the choir?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, 4th grade. 4th grade on. I was in the choir. You know, I never forget that. I was in 4th grade. And she said, you got to go. So there you go.
Okay. Very good. So let's move forward, because there's a lot. You might have to come back, Chris. There's so much, your wealth of knowledge and so much to share and talk to about. But let's move. We got the Isley Brothers years. And then tell us, because people are asking now, what made you leave, or where did the split come to when you left the Isley Brothers, the full group, the Isley Brothers? So where did that come from? What decision was made, and how did that process happen? If you could share a little of that with us.
Well, it was basically because of the circumstances at the time. The older guys had problems and indebtedness that they had built up over the years.
Oh, I see.
And a lot of tax, you know, problems and things that the 3 younger people didn't have. Me and Marvin, we didn't have those problems, and they wanted to file bankruptcy. We did not, you know, because we didn't have to. But they wanted us to be all entangled in that mess. Okay. They wanted us to file bankruptcy too, so it just wasn't possible. I said, you know, there's no reason for us to do that. So, we just didn't do that. And they said, all right, you guys, you know, we're going to do something else. They kind of broke it off. Okay. Know? And I said, okay, well, if that's your decision, that's fine. And so that's what made us have to form Isley, Jasper, Isley. We just used our own names, you know. Right. We used the Isley Brothers, we just used our own names. So, which was, I thought was pretty cool. So it just brought us to the next thing. I was hoping it would lead into Isley, Jasper, Isley. Let's talk about that, because people are saying my favorite song,
Caravan of Love, Insatiable Woman. So tell us, you broke off with the Isley brothers, formed Isley, Jasper, Isley, and then came Caravan of Love. Was,
Yeah.
was that the first single?
That was the second album, the first single from the second album.
Second album, right. Okay.
And Caravan was
Beautiful.
That's all special to me. It was because I worked out the music first, and I had the track, but I wanted the lyrics to be something like that everybody could identify with and be universal and have a good message. And at the time, I was starting to read scripture and get more involved with that. My understanding was increasing, and I said, the concept is from scripture. When we'll be living in a world of peace, where everyone is free, where the young will be with the old. That whole thing comes from scripture, and so that's what the Caravan of Love is all about. It's people coming together, and I'm your brother, don't you know? Because people have a lot of problems, and they don't understand we're all related. It just matters how far do you want to go back, because we all came from the two people that God created, Adam and Eve.
Right.
Really, that, and that's what I'm saying. I'm your brother, don't you know? Because a lot of people get all caught up in differences. We're so similar in many, 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 many more ways, because I've met people all over the world, and basically people are the same except for a few little things. Maybe color, maybe language, maybe a little bit of culture, but in most ways they're the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's I think that should be mentioned more. Is that people are the same. I've met people from all over, all walks of life, and I'm amazed at how similar they are. Their wants, their needs, their goals, their desires. Sometimes their faith even. And little things drive wedges within.
Yes.
Even within families.
It's true. And that song, it's a perfect song for today. I kind of wish you released it again on your new CD because I think. I mean, maybe it's not too late to do something, Chris. I don't know, but I think that would be perfect. We've got so much going on right now. That song just fits. It would be perfect to hear it again. I was playing it, preparing for this, some of your stuff. I was going back, listening to some of it, and that song just would be perfect for today and all that's going on in the turmoil.
Yeah, that's just a brief thing. You may not think it's relevant, but I think it is. Like even between the sons of Abraham, it goes back to that. Sons of Abraham, sometimes at war with each other,
right?
But they're brothers. You know what I mean?
Yes. Ooh, you preaching a little bit, Chris. Okay.
what I'm getting at
That's a good message.
Is people aren't as different as they think they are. And how different you think you are can depend on how well you get along. Even in families, you'll see two brothers and they're from the same family, same parents, but they're totally different.
Yes. True.
And it's why did Cain slay Abel? You know what I mean? They're, you see. Sometimes the truth is right in front of your face and you're not looking at it.
That's so true.
Yes. I'm your brother, don't you know? That's why I said that in that song, and I said it twice. I said it twice for a reason. People are brothers, and I'm glad in the video captured, the two people looking at each other and saying, "I'm your brother, don't you know?" I'm glad he captured that, because, you have this guy who looks like he's from Sweden and another guy who's in the African outfit, and they're looking at each other and saying, "I'm your brother, don't you know?" That was one of the most important parts of that video.
Mm-hmm. I love that video, by the way. Yes.
People need to understand that, and internalize it. Don't internalize the hate part. Don't internalize the lie. That's the lie.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, I'm your brother. That's the truth. Because if you go back far enough, you just have to go back far enough.
Mm-hmm.
I heard one time the vice president, what was his name? The one that shot the guy on a golf course. Somehow he's connected with Al Sharpton.
Oh, wow! Didn't know.
Right? Yeah. I forget his name. I don't know. I couldn't remember his name right now. But you know what I mean? It's like, come on. What are you talking about? It's because and it's in the Bible. For lack of knowledge, the people perish. For lack of knowledge, people perish. And you have to go back. You have to do research. You have to read. You have to go back and see where you're from. Because everybody's from the same place. That's why the place where mankind was born is so neglected and torn. That lyric means something. Mankind was born between the Tigris and Euphrates River. That's where the Garden of Eden is.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And isn't that region neglected and torn?
Absolutely. Yes.
And when you continue that destruction, and it continues throughout the world, what are you going to produce? Chaos. But if your understanding will lead you to peace. If everybody's understanding increase, they will be peaceful, because you will know, hey, that's my brother right there. Why am I mad at him? God even said, if you hate your brother, how can you love God if you hate your brother that you see every day?
That's right. It does say that.
How can you say you love God when you hate your brother? You see what I mean?
Right. So, Chris, you're fine. So that song, what made you, was something going on at that time that made you do that song, or?
Well, yeah, it was, I was searching for what was missing in my life, and that was, God, basically, and the understanding that He provides.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And that came from there.
That's what missing, because I had all this success, all this, people knew me from all over the place, record sales and all that, but there was something else that wasn't quite right, and I had, I could talk to you for a long time but I had visitations in dreams, and which led me to start reading the Bible, and there's a whole story behind that. What led me to the Bible?
Okay.
But I don't know if we have enough time for that. But.
No, we don't, because not for that. You're going to have to just come back and maybe elaborate. We'll talk about that. But so let's getting back to Isley, Jasper, Isley. So was this the first time that you, when you left the group, and now you're the lead singer? This is new, right? Now you're the lead singer. How did that feel? Was that something, you used to be kind of shy about it, you said, at least when you were younger. So now you're the lead singer of this quote unquote new group. How does that feel, and how was that for you?
It was good, because I had been singing, the guide tracks to the Isley Brothers songs before. Ronald would just come in and sing it again. So I had been doing it, for years, because I wrote the songs. Ronald didn't know the songs. I had to sing them, I had to put a guide track on the tape. So I had been doing it. It's just like, well, it just wasn't featured much. I mean, I was singing on some of the records, like Choosy Lover. I was doing a co-lead on there. It's All Right With Me. I was doing a co-lead on that one, but not the whole lead. You know what I mean?
Right.
I never did the whole lead with the 6-member group. So, but it wasn't different. It wasn't too different for me to go and do it. It was just, okay, this is what we have to go with, because it's just 3 of us now,
Okay.
And but it was kind of, it was a good feeling to see the success of Caravan, that album.
Okay.
Insatiable Woman was on there. We did a video for that one.
Right, Insatiable Woman.
Yeah.
And
Taking the
who was,
lead role. Huh?
I was going to say, and who was featured in that video? People don't.
Oh, Marcy, that's my wife. Yeah.
Yes.
We were married like what 3 years when that video was shot. Yeah.
So yes, it's your Unsung Tears. If you go watch the Insatiable Woman video from Isley, Jasper Isley, the female featured in that is Margie. Chris's.
Yeah.
Yes. So I want people to know that because she's such a sweetie. Hi, Margie. Okay. So were you about to say something else, Chris?
No, I just said it was just good to be able to see the success.
Yes.
With the three of us young guys, because that's how we started. We were back to the Jasmine Trio.
Yes, it was pretty awesome. And from the fans' perspective, we got to hear you from the fans' perspective that we're used to hearing Ronald lead. Now we see Ozzy, and we're like, oh, there's another singer. It was nice to hear you and see you, and it sounded just as good. And everybody, of course, loved the music. So
It was great.
Let me read a couple more questions. I want to get them in. Many people, Luther saying, many people don't know this. Chris Jasper is responsible for artist Liz Wright.
Liz Hogue.
Okay, Liz Hogue.
She was on my label, and she did an album. Great singer, though. Great singer.
Okay. Hello from Memphis, Tennessee. I love the 70s memories. Those Isley Brothers years built my relationship with my husband. That's from Constance Shaw. Let's see if there's, you sounded amazing with that falsetto. Brazil is in the house. Somebody from Brazil?
Brazil, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello to Brazil.
Yes. Hello, Brazil. I just recently learned that the Isley Brothers were the most sought after group in the mid to late 70s. Hence is why you sold out at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we did a lot of gigs, and most of them were those, basketball arenas, like 12,000 and up.
Yes, huge.
That's where most of them were, and during that time period.
Right. What is your connection with Jimi Hendrix?
Jimmy, he was with the older guys when they first started, and we were too young at the time to be involved with the band then. Jimmy came along like when I was like really young. I was like 10 maybe, or and then he left and went to England and formed his group there, and that's when Jimmy kind of really got famous. But I think he was with the Isley Brothers for maybe a couple of years, maybe, touring and stuff. And
okay,
he was just a great musician, Jimi Hendrix was. But he was a little too old. They were older, and
right.
We were too young to start playing then.
Okay. Hello from Dinwiddie, Virginia. That's Junie Rackley that's here. Somebody said my eldest son was conceived on Between the Sheets. Thank you.
What did you say about Between the Sheets? What did she say?
What'd you say, Chris?
No, what did she say?
She said her eldest son was conceived on Between the Sheets. Thank you. That's what she said.
All right. That's all right. I get that sometimes,
I don't have the name of that. Let me say, everyone, please make sure you hit StreamYard at the top of this post and allow them to show your name so I can tell Chris your name. Okay, that was cute. I'm not sure who, we don't have her name, but we can look on the other page afterwards. Okay, so we got a few minutes left. Isley, Jasper, Isley, now we've gone through that. Now you went solo. What happened there? And tell us about your solo career.
Well, let's see, when Ernie resigned from the group, I was asked, would I do a solo album because we couldn't do an Isley, Jasper, Isley album. So I said, yeah, I think I can. And that's when I did the first album, Super Bad, which kind of set me on my solo course,
And how many albums have you had? Solo albums? You've done quite a few.
Six, this current one that I have out now is number 16.
Wow, that's a lot. Oh, by the way, Chris, somebody said Dick Cheney is the vice president you were talking about.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Now all are connected. Yeah.
Yes, I love my unsung tears. They're helping us out. Um, and I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss the comment. There was another one that someone had asked. Well, someone had asked what effect, how did it affect you when you lost O'Kelly, the Isley brothers passed? How
It
did it
was
affect you?
it was sudden. It was like, we were on tour with Luther Vandross at the time. I think we were in Chicago, if memory serves me correctly. And I got a call from my mother, and she says, O'Kelly has passed away. And it was like shocking to all of us. And we left the tour for a minute because we had a little time off, and we left and came back, and everybody was just kind of in shock because it was such a sudden thing, and it took it a while to even sink in, because he was not an old guy at the time. I think he was like 48. you know Hmm. Okay, there you go, there you are.
Hey, everybody. So sorry about that. Apparently, we had some technical difficulties. So let me know if you can see us. Those that are still with us, if you can see us and hear us, leave a comment so we know. It takes, we got a little delay, so it might be delayed a little bit, Chris, for us getting back.
Hmm.
Um, is anyone still there? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Keith. All right. So we lost a few people. We got a few technical difficulties going on, but we're back, and we didn't have too much more to go. But the main thing we wanted to talk about, of course, Chris, was your new CD. We're going to go ahead and jump into that so we can at least give people that information. And you might have to come back again for a few minutes, Chris, at another time to talk about this again, because I want to make sure people hear this part. So we now have a new CD, correct? And the name
That's
of
right. For the Love of You is the name of it, and
one of my favorite songs.
it's a cover. Yeah, it's named after the cover of the song I wrote a long time ago. And we did another version of it, and I revisited some other songs from the Isley Brothers when I wrote for the Isley Brothers too. I Once Had Your Love, Can't Let Go, and Go For What You Know also. Um, those are part of the catalog. But then I also did some other things. I did God Is Love by Marvin Gaye. I did Nothing
Yes.
But Love by Sam Cooke, which is I'm so glad I was able to do one of his songs because he influenced me so much.
Yes. And I love that song. I do love it. I heard it. I love
And
it.
also, there's a Van Morrison song, Have I Told You Lately I Loved You. I rearranged that one.
I heard
You're
that
Also
too.
Beautiful. So there's stuff, like there's a collection of songs that are on here. And this whole album is covers, but there's a lot of new music in it, because I do new treatments to them and I add new things.
Yes.
So,
And I've
uh,
heard it. It's wonderful. I enjoyed it, Chris. I've truly enjoyed listening to it.
thank you. Yeah, I enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun, to make because there were songs that I liked. So it's always good to do that. Like when I was doing Hello It's Me and stuff like that. Hello It's Me and Don't Let Me Be Lonely. It was good to rearrange those songs because I like the songs, the originals.
Right. Well, and you are just so talented. I just, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And so, can you tell us where, if people want to order the CD or where they want to get it, tell us where they can find you and keep up with you and find out what you're doing?
Yeah,
your social media?
yeah. ChrisJasper.com is where you can find everything. You know, it'll lead you right to the Gold City Music store. You know, you can buy it right there. You can buy it on Amazon too. But yeah, ChrisJasper.com is where everything is. All the music is there. Um, you know, bios, everything is
Yes.
ChrisJasper.com.
Yes, so Unsung Tears, please support Chris. His music is wonderful as it always has been. You can download all his music. You can find out about Chris. Chris, or will you be doing any online performances or anything that we can catch?
I don't know, but I was talking about this the other day. Is that you know, people haven't seen me do a concert in a while,
Yeah.
and I want to get my band together and do it, you know, that way
Oh, that
instead
would
of
be awesome.
doing like, you know, maybe just me playing the piano or something like that. You know,
Right.
I want to have the full effect. You know,
Yes. And
you know, when I start doing the tours and concerts, because
yes.
that's the way people have seen me before. You know, and
Right.
I think they get a better experience. You know, with
Yes.
the band. You know, so that's what I'm thinking about putting together.
Well, you let us know whenever you do that so we can support you because I would love to see that myself. And we'll make sure we let the Unsung Tears know so we can definitely hear that beautiful voice of yours and see this true talent. So, on behalf of the fans of Unsung and Luther, a founder of the page, and myself, we just want to thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry we had a little technical difficulty. Please come back anytime. Love you. We want to support you, Chris. We appreciate you and all that you've given us in music over all these years. Truly blessed by your gift of music.
I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate all the listeners, you know, all the fans. You know, I don't take. I want you to know I don't take you for granted. You know, I never will, because you know, I realize that that's what makes the whole thing complete. Is, you know, the music, you know, and the acceptance of it. If people don't accept it, then it's not complete. So
Right.
I understand that, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm virtually toasting you. I don't even have my glass here. I'm all off today, but we virtually toast you and salute you for being here and all of our your fans that have joined us tonight. We thank you for that and we salute you in spirit.
All right.
All
Stay
right.
safe and stay strong.
You too, Chris. Thank you so much,
Okay.
everybody.